and welcome to Sports This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
I am Tayo Salam. Many thanks for joining us again.
Okay.
All right, this is what the show looks like. We're not starting off on a good note. That's because Enyimba, Nigeria's representatives in the CAF Confederation Cup, are out.
Are you surprised? Nope.
No surprises at all. They hosted Pyramids of Egypt in the second leg encounter yesterday in Aba, and they could only manage a 1-1 draw. And we said it here on Friday, Cecilia, that that was a very unlikely comeback.
You're looking for a miracle.
Yeah,
it didn't happen.
Major miracle.
A major miracle didn't happen. They conceded first, but at the end of the day, they are out of the CAF Confederation Cup. All right, let's move on to the next one. Yes, not so good news also coming from Rivers Hoopers. Yes, they saved the best for last, BTG and BC, but that best for last just wasn't enough because they are out of the Basketball Africa League. The very first edition, they finished third ahead of, behind other groups, Donetsk and FAP. They needed to finish as one of the best losers, but because of the numbers of points they conceded, 23-29, they just couldn't make it out of that group. So for Rivers Hoopers, nice experience for them. Hopefully next time it will be better.
That's why it's always good to have your destiny, your fate in your own hands. Do your job.
Yeah, they did.
Don't have to depend
on other results.
Other results are going your way. And
yeah, but it was always going to be a tough group. We all know that. But the good news is, at least they won a game. So the Kings men are coming home at least with a win at.
With their pride intact.
Yeah, their pride intact. Yeah, like the Kings. All right.
Also on the show, let's go. Incredible achievements are coming from the one and only Phil Mickelson. Has become the oldest major winner after securing a 2-shot lead at the PGA Championship.
Wow. No matter how old you are, you can always do it. The only thing is just hard work, and then you'll be there. And that's why we're starting off the show this morning, talking about Phil Mickelson, 50-year-old. He waited for so long, and he got it. And the first person to congratulate him was,
of course,
the other person, Tiger Woods. Yes, he finally did it. And of course, all eyes were actually on the first man you saw, Rory McIlroy. Everyone was thinking he's going to break the duck. He hasn't won.
What duck?
I mean,
what duck? It wasn't even in serious contention.
I'm saying from... Come on, Tayo, why are you so wicked?
I mean,
my point is, from the very beginning, we're thinking just maybe.
I get what you're saying. That's me just saying
he hasn't won
he didn't really live up. That's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make. The day was all about Phil Mickelson becoming the oldest champion in history after overcoming a nervy back night to clinch a memorable 2-shot victory at the 103rd PGA Championship. 5 shots clear of the field until mistakes in the 12th and the 13th offered hope to Brooks Koepka and Louis Oosthuizen. But somehow the big lefty managed to hold on, and no one could deny him his place in the history of Brooks. His first major win since 2013. Cecilia, what a day, what all round. I mean, look at the galleries. Good to see the fans back as well.
Coming back.
I mean, they couldn't believe it. Phil Mickelson winning a major for the first time since 2013. Very similar to Tiger's triumph at the Masters as well too. A lot of those guys that were already written off, because there's so many great young players on tour. But it shows you that a champion will always remain a champion, and it's that mentality that has taken them to this level.
And that's what happened. I mean, just look at the crowd, everyone cheering him, really happy that he was able to finally make this one. They've waited for so long, and it happened where you have the fans, back on the golf course. All right, let's listen to Phil Mickelson, the man of the moment, what he had to do to be able to achieve this at the age of 50.
Look at that. Incredible emotions with his
caddy.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
It's been an incredible day, and I have not let myself kind of think about the results until now. Now that it's over, I've tried to stay more in the present and the shot at hand, not jump ahead and race. I've tried to really shut my mind to a lot of stuff that was going on around, like I wasn't watching TV, I wasn't getting on my phone, I was just trying to quiet things down because I'll get my thoughts racing, and I really just tried to stay calm, and I believed for a long time that I could play at this level again. I didn't see why I couldn't, but I wasn't executing the way I believed I could. And with the help of a lot of people, my wife especially, but Andrew Getson and my brother Tim and Steve Loy, I've been able to make progress and then have this week. So it's very exciting because I've had a few breakthroughs on being able to stay more present, be able to stay more focused, and physically I'm striking it and playing as well as I ever have, but I haven't been able to see that clear picture. So although I believed it until I actually did it, there was a lot of doubt, I'm sure. You know, it's very possible that this is the last tournament I ever win, like if I'm being realistic, but it's also very possible that I may have had a little bit of a breakthrough in some of my focus, and maybe I go on a little bit of a run. I don't know. But the point is that there's no reason why I or anybody else can't do it at a later age. It just takes a little bit more work. It's an incredible experience. I've never had something like that. I've never been in golf like that. It was a little unnerving, but it was exceptionally awesome too. So that was kind of a special moment that I'll be appreciative of the way the people here have supported me and the entire tournament.
Exceptional, yes, at 50, so you had to do it. More work, there's nothing you cannot do. Just put your heart to it, you should be able, you will be able to do it. And that's the message from Phil Mickelson this morning. We have Queen Mosep in the studio. She's the media officer of Rivers Hoopers, and you know why we have to bring her here. We're thinking, we started counting and watching all the games, thinking, okay, maybe they might just sneak in as no one of the best losers, but some might just didn't happen. So Queen is here this morning. I congratulated you on Saturday when you won your very first game, thinking, okay, let the waiting begins. But somehow, it just didn't happen for the Rivers Hoopers. How are you doing?
Well, I feel disappointed anyway, and it's mixed feelings anyway.
Yeah.
Happy that they were able to win one game, because having to follow these social media comments, I couldn't just answer any. Unfortunately, you're handling the official handle, but you can't say anything to those complaints from people, from Nigerians, and I could feel it from them. But I just wish that we picked one game, tried to just calm the storm, and we got that against JNBC. But unfortunately, it couldn't take us, and it couldn't take us to the next round. But I think the damage had been done from the first game. I won't count the game against US Monastir because even realistically, when I saw the draws, I knew it would be a difficult game, and bulk of the team play for the Tunisian national team. They even won the 2017 Afro Basket.
So 7 of the players are there. So what do you expect?
When you play a 40-year-old player like Rohad Slimani, he's still in the squad. You should know that it's going to be a true battle. So I ruled out that game out of it. But the game I watched out for was against Patriot and James. I know these are the games we could pick. But unfortunately, it didn't go down well for us in that first game, because that first game, it wasn't the River Supers that I know. Yes, a lot of people say we are not good enough, but I don't think, I didn't buy that idea that we're not good enough. But going to that game, inactivity showed a whole lot. And now it's now on the NBBF. Are they going to create a league for the local players? Because these players have not played since 2019, the President's Cup.
Which wasn't even, how many games?
How many games? October, November, just 2 weeks.
That was more like a tournament.
So the last time we had a real league was 2017. So that means for almost 4 years, the local players have not had time to play real basketball games. And then you want to come against toe-to-toe for a Tunisian league champion, serial champions.
They want 2 titles coming into this championship.
And then Patriots, who have also been playing games. So it was difficult for us. That first game, tired legs, they struggled, they were slow, transition defense was slow, the shots, the fouls we were having was also there, the turnovers, 20 turnovers, in short, we rated high on turnovers. It was like, it was consistent. The first game, 20 turnovers, second 19, then the last one reduced it to 14. So it was just working. So the damage had been done from the first game. So I knew it was going to be very slim chance. You look at the third place loser standings, we're minus 41, while FAP plus 17. So how do we intend to do that? Then for AS Duanes, we're like, is it minus 30-something, 37 or so? So how do we intend to match up this guy? So I knew it was going to be difficult. Because FAP, from the very moment in the second group, they were tight. They were tight opponent. They almost defeated AS former champions of the FIBA Champions Cup, but they lost by 2. And then also for Petro Luanda, they also lost, was it by 3 or so? So I knew that group is a no-no. I know FAP were going to pick that one because AS Police were just like the whipping boys in that one. So, but I was feeling maybe AS Duanes will fall by the wayside, but they didn't. So the damage had been done from the first game. So, but for me, I had wished we had played US Monastir in the first game. I don't mind being beaten by 150 points. The guys would have picked up from there, because if you look at it, we kept on improving game by game. First game, we scored 60 points. Second game, 70 points. And then third game, we now made it 80. That means the guys were improving. They needed games. It was very obvious we needed game time to get into our groove. And they got into their rhythm. So imagine we had faced the US Monastir in the first game. And then we were beaten black and blue. Then faced the Patriot side in the second game. But we wouldn't have lost by 23 points. We wouldn't have. Even though we had lost that game, maybe it would have been very, very close, and then would have stood a very good chance of getting to the quarterfinals.
If and if.
It's all if and if anyway. So many ifs. So but it's just to pick up lessons from there. And everybody will have to share a blame in this. Players as well. MBBF first of all.
I think less of the players, because we need to cut the players. You remember when they were trying to get to Lagos to start preparations? They didn't even have the money to come down to Lagos. I mean, I spoke to you several times. When are they come? We kept asking questions. We were supposed to play scrimmages. I mean, play some friendlies against clubs based in Lagos. They couldn't do that because the timing was short. It was not until they got to Tunisia before they played just 2. They got to just 1 scrimmage. How do you do that? You have 4 new players that you've never played with before coming into the team. Opon couldn't even make it to Lagos. He went straight to Kigali. So now what are you talking about? I don't think anything should be on the players. Yes, we're kind of why do you keep throwing threes when you know you cannot even make the basket and or try and make some passes before you get into the paint and then do your 2 shot that you're good at. Yes, we complain about that on the part of the players, but maybe the coach could have done better. But from what you've said, no league games, no proper preparations, it is not magical. You can't just go there and expect everything to go away and be magical and then win games. It's not possible.
Yeah, no, it's not magical. It's not magic. And we keep talking about it in a basketball group we have there. And it will end up, the winner of this championship will end up being a team that have been playing their league. You can't just come from your house and you think you want to win a basketball championship. It doesn't work like that. No. You don't just build your house without just sitting, relaxing. You have to work. You have to put in the work, and it starts from preparation. We might have been doing our own little preparation of practicing, but practicing cannot be like game. It can't be like the game. You have to play more games. You have to get into the rhythm. You have to get into the momentum of the competition, which we didn't do that. And that's why I keep blaming the MBF. They should have done a league for us. Okay, now they would want to say it all boils down to the factional issue, and then the politics all going, the MBF. Because from 2017 till now, we can't have a league. First of all, they said it was a cut. Now the cut issue is done. Sponsors, COVID-19, but let's get something run. Okay, what are other clubs, other teams, how are they doing it? We can learn from that and then pick up from there. Okay, last year we had no inactivity. But at the end of the day, the festival that was even postponed last year, ended up done. Yeah, it was done this year. So why can't we have a league?
Queen, I know you can go on. You're on fire. You just keep going on. Totally understandable. But we need to listen now to the coach of the team, Ogo Daudu, reflecting on the Rivers Hoopers' performance in Kigali, Rwanda.
Keep trying. I want to keep coming back. Just like you said, we've seen the level of basketball that we can actually play. We've seen the level of basketball here. And it's going to be hard work. We'll have to go back. We're not just going to back and sit back and relax and say, hey, we want to come back here. We're going to double our efforts. Because even on the home front, it's going to be difficult for us because everybody wants to come here next year. And so it puts a lot of pressure on us, but we have to do the things we need to do and go. We have acquired a lot of experience. The players have seen and understood. Giving a lot of kudos to the guys of the team, the imports, Taren, Chris, Ben. We have been on their backs the whole time. We have learned a lot. And just like you're saying, this team is not going back to Nigeria the same way. It's an entirely different team right now, and it will definitely show when we go back home and play.
great learning experience indeed for the Rivers Hoopers. And Queen has talked about how it's going to be even more difficult to come to this competition next year because all the other Nigerian sides will want to be a part of it as well.
As if we have a league and not a championship or a tournament.
Yeah,
not president. We don't want yes, one President's Cup. Yes, part of the league. After the league, you can have the President's Cup, no problem. But please have at least 60 games or 50.
A proper league has to be in place. The NBBF, I'm sure they've seen what has happened and we would like to rectify all these issues before the second edition of the Basketball Africa League. Of course, there were games yesterday as well too. Some of those games actually confirmed the exit and elimination of the Rivers Hoopers. Dwyners had lost against Zamalek. Zamalek, they've been very good in this competition, 86 to 62. AS Police lost 65 to 87 against FAP. And Petroleus de Luanda, 97 over AS Sali, and those are the games a shocker, right? And for today, Zamalek still have one more game. They take on JSP.
And then the placing will be done, and then we know all the teams in the quarterfinals and their opponents.
All right, then. So let's leave the Basketball Africa League for now. Of course, there's still going to be many more issues from whenever the guys arrive.
Yeah, true.
When are they coming back?
Oh, they should be back before Wednesday because our tournament is over. You have no business there, so they'll definitely be back, and that's just it.
All right, then. So that's it for the Basketball Africa League. Of course, you can stick to us for all the updates all the way to the final of the competition, even though Rivers Hoopers are out. We're still talking basketball. This time, let's go to the NBA. NBA playoffs far tipped off over the weekend, and we have some very interesting results for you. Queen is surprised as well too by some of these results, and we're going to get our thoughts shortly. But let's see the results first of all. The Wizards lost against the 76ers. Tobias Harris, 37 points to lead the top seeds to that particular victory. The Lakers against the Suns, I wouldn't say is a surprise, 99 to 90 in favor of Phoenix. They were just too hot for the defending champions. The Hawks and the Knicks, 107 to 105. Trae Young with a runner with 0.9 seconds left. Heartbreaking loss for New York on their return to the playoffs. And this stunning result coming from the 8th-seeded Memphis Grizzlies, 112 to 100 over the Utah Jazz. No one said I'm coming, 109, pardon me. What happened there?
I think that's the surprising result for me, the Utah Jazz. They've been top seed. They've been doing so well this season. And the Memphis Grizzlies had to sneak in later on against Golden State Warriors.
So it was worth it.
It was really worth it. That's a strange result for me to say.
Very strange. Very strange. Okay. Talking about the guy who had to do it, Ja Morant, he was brilliant all through. 26 points he scored for the Grizzlies. Let's just take a listen to him, and then I think Queen will have to be leaving the studio after this, right?
Yeah.
The baby's at home, I know.
Fortunately, we got to let her
go. Mom, it's kind of hard. Well, let's just listen to Ja Morant, talking about that's the game. They're talking about the Lakers and, of course,
and the Suns. Devin Booker, 34 points. DeAndre Ayton, 21 and 16 rebounds. These guys, a lot of them were making their playoff debuts. But they didn't look like postseason rookies at all against LeBron James and the champs and all of that. But it is what it is. Great first win for the Phoenix Suns. All right, let's listen to Ja Morant, of course, speaking after they upset the top-seeded Utah Jazz in the first round playoff series.
Man, they have a very tough fan base. They was loud, rooting for them. Sometimes we was trying to call stuff or talk, and it was tough to hear. So I know they're happy they have that fan base behind them. But as far as for us, being able to come out and get a win, on the road on the first game in that environment is big time for us. And we can't wait till we go back to Memphis so we can return the favor with our fans.
Welcome back. Okay, time to talk about football. And you guys can talk to us on our Twitter handle before we do football and before Biola Kazim will join us to have a comprehensive review of most of the leagues that went down to the final day. How many? It's just one, I guess. Talking about title decider, not just top four. So talk to us on that Twitter handle. Yes, Chelsea sneak into the Champions League spot. Liverpool couldn't have expected. We didn't expect Liverpool to get in because of how the season was. But on the final day, they finished third. Surprise, surprise. Well, for Juventus, yes, they also were able to sneak in because Napoli did not do their job. Leicester City, for the second season in a row, couldn't get into the Champions League spot because, despite 2 penalties, they lost to Tottenham, who are in the European Conference League, right? Yeah, we'll say about that. And of course, there's so much to talk about. And Arsenal, for the first time in 26 years, they would not be playing in Europe at all. Some of the fans are happy, saying Arteta will have to focus on the league next season. And of course, they're trusting the process.
Yeah, indeed. You can talk to us about Enyimba as well. So what do you make of their performance, the outer of the CAF Confederation Cup in the quarterfinals, and they couldn't get past Pyramids. When we saw the draw, that was a worst possible draw they could have gotten, and we knew it was going to be very, very tough for them, and it's the end of the road, unfortunately.
So basketball fans also, you can talk to us about Rivers Hoopers, the Kings men. They gave a good account of themselves, yes or no. So tell us about that also. Okay, we have Biola Kazim joining us this morning. Biola, we're going to start with the CAF Confederation Cup first. But Biola, good morning. It's good to have you join us.
Good to join you guys. Good morning, Cecilia. Good morning to you as well.
Okay, let's get into it. Enyimba, yes, after that 4-1 loss and coming home, this considered the first goal even, which was really ludicrous anyway. By the end of the day, 5-2 on aggregate, they are out. Were you surprised that they will concede so many goals? Yes, we know we didn't give them a chance against a Pyramids of Egypt, but conceding 5 goals and going out like that.
Well, maybe the manner of the loss. The outcome, I wasn't surprised. I always felt like we're up against Pyramid. But yeah, to be so badly battered, particularly in the first leg, was quite surprising. And ultimately, I thought that the damage was already done in that first leg. If you have a 3-goal deficit that you have to make up for against a very tough team at home, the likelihood is that psychologically, you possibly will not even be to where you want to try. And so I wasn't surprised that Pyramid came here and even got the first goal, which ultimately is what teams do when they have a very comfortable first leg advantage. They want to come back here, hurt you very quickly, and just essentially end the match. And that was what the moment Enyimba considered first back at home, it was all over. But like I said, the real damage was done with that sharp defending in the first leg. I mean, they really said, Pyramids, all of those goals, the quality of the goalkeeping and defending was beyond shocking. And at this level, quarterfinals, it's just not permissible, and they pay the ultimate price. But again, I should say that this follows the trend that we have seen over the past decade or even more of Nigerian teams, the continent where, this time they are falling to Pyramids. We've seen Nigerian teams fall to us, to teams from Eritrea, Sierra Leone. It's been a horrible decade for our clubs, particularly on the continent, and so this just continues to follow the trend, and that is where we really have to do some deep thinking. How come our clubs, the best of them, Enyimba parade the best legs, on the local front? How come once they come up against a decent African side, they typically fall short?
Yeah, it's kind of just look at one of the goals they conceded. They gave the ball away, and of course they just couldn't check their back, and this is how this happened. Well, as you said, just hopefully they can be better next time. We've seen, as you mentioned, over the past 3 seasons, right? They get into the Champions League, drop from the Champions League, get into CAF Confederation Cup, and go out in the quarterfinals. More like a routine, and hopefully next season we'll not have this kind of routine again. Things could have changed, hopefully.
Hopefully all the time.
All the time, right?
It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way.
You got to put in the work,
yes, which is important.
And like these other teams have done, the likes of Raja Casablanca, they advanced into the semi-finals, JS Kabila as well. So those are the teams we should, aim and aspire to be like on the continent. Those guys are well organized on and off the pitch, and that's why they are where they are, and that's why we are where we are. There you go. DRF defeated Cotton Sports 2-1, but wasn't enough. Cotton Sports advancing into the next round. JS Kabili, of course, got the job done over CSN 1-1 after a 1-1 draw. Raja Casablanca 4-0 over Orlando Pirates
Expectedly
to seal
also.
their spots expectedly in the semi-finals.
And just take a look at what it is. Cotton Sport, JS Kabylie and Raja Casablanca, and you have a Pyramids of Egypt. And these are the teams. And without being told, and me, we know how
let's get on
North Africa. Okay, let's continue with the show. Quickly, NPFL results from what happened on Sunday. Yes, there's a rescheduled game for today. The one we're waiting for, it didn't happen yesterday. It's happening today, talking about Kwara United to see if they can regain top spot against Aqua, which will be happening today. But these are results. Caterpillars draw away from home. Nassau and Heartland 3-1 it ended. For Plateau United at home, more like the Kings right now, 4-1 against Wiki Tourists, who've been struggling to have a new manager right now. Rivers United and Abia Warriors, yes, we talked about that game, it ended goalless because Abia Warriors, they just want to rewrite, their history, their story this season. Jigawa Golden Stars and Takada, that's late goal, scuttled the plans of getting all 3 points away from home. Ifayan and Sunshine Stars ended 1-0. MFM Lobby Stars just won a long goal. Adamawa and Warri Wolves. Yes, that was a drama. 6-goal thriller. Game. Not until the last moment of the game that Adamawa were able to get a draw at home.
Just sure that feels like a defeat for Warri Wolves because for long periods it looked like they were going to get all 3 points. Let's focus on
Plateau and
Wiki Cecilia. We're seeing pictures coming up shortly. What a game, what a win. They don't come much more convincing than this 4-1 in favor of Plateau United. And despite a slow start to the season, you have to say Plateau have started to pick up some very good points. That was the first goal of the match. It was a scramble, but a goal is still a goal. Ibrahim Mustafa, of course, ever since he came back into the team as well, too, has definitely lifted the spirits of this Plateau United side.
Yeah, Bella, what do you make of Plateau United, their season so far? They struggled at the beginning of the season, but right now they've moved up to the table. 8th spot now, 31 points after 22 games. Apparently, Abdul Makaba, he's turning the teams around.
Yeah, Makaba is a very, very one of my favorites actually on the local front. I think he's or something, something interesting like that. He did a really, really great job at Aqua United, and I was surprised, that he took the Plateau United job. But take it, he has. And last season wasn't, so bad. In fact, over the past couple of years, Plateau have, seen a level of renaissance. But like you said, start of this season was really, really poor. But looks like they steadied the ship. They are building ahead of steam, gathering momentum. I mean, of course, it looks maybe a little bit, too late. What I should say though is that I'm trying as hard as possible not, building teams or players. It's been a very, very difficult season, particularly on the local front, with senses of teams being attacked. They've had to play in empty stadiums, traveling long distances, had another of those long breaks. There's a lot of uncertainty around the league, and in some way, it makes it a bit difficult to assess the true level of teams. But full credit to Plateau United, because if there's anything that's very difficult in Nigeria League, it's to build momentum. So if you can build ahead of steam and have consistent results over 7, 8, 9 games, then clearly you are doing something right. So it remains to be seen if it's a little bit too late. I think definitely it is, but I'm sure they would want to see if they can get back on the continent. They had a stab at it. I think it was last season.
2 seasons ago. Before the COVID.
It pretty much ended like how the aspirations of our clubs on the continent end. But have also, I should say, a lot of support right now, and that's why they can get Makaba and a few decent players. So it remains to be seen if they can finish on the continent, and then hopefully we'll have a more cohesive, better organized, more certainty in the league next season, and then we can truly assess the levels of things.
All right, let's listen to the coach that you love so much, talking about Abdul Makaba, what he had to say after winning that game 4-1 against Wiki Tourists at home.
At this stage of the competition, winning your neighbors with this type of margin is an excellent performance from my boys. And I expect them to keep it up because to be in the race, we have to be consistent. Actually, we know our opponents will not be easy, despite the fact that they are not running good form. But I'm happy we were able to overcome them and win at the end.
Well, being my first match, I'm just trying to know the team now. So with this result, I think we have to go back home, do what we think is right, make the necessary correction before our next game against Enyimba. And we think by our game with Enyimba, inshallah, things will get better. My target for now is to get the team out of where they are now. Hopefully, finish first 10, so that by next season, we make the necessary corrections.
Abdullahi Adamu, the coach of Wiki Tourists, is just taking over the club right now. So next season he can make necessary correction. Whatever he's going to do this season, you will definitely not blame him because of the way they started. Quickly, let's take a look at the league table. Yes, Kano Pillars are currently they're top of the table by virtue of the fact that Aqua United, that were top before, they will be playing later today against Rangers, and that game will be live on NPFL TV and also on NTA. Yes, of course. Yeah. Aqua United, think of what to do and go back to your position. That's if you can. Kano Pillars needed a draw, and they are back to top of the league. Kwara United are still third. Nasarawa have moved up. Rivers United couldn't move up because they could manage just a goalless game against Abia. Rangers are still where they are. For Heartland, you have Plateau United moving to 8th, as we mentioned earlier. Lobby Stars and Enyimba completing the top 10. Yes, Enyimba, they have so many games in hand. We know that. About 3 games, or rather 4 games.
It's not worth nothing.
It's worth nothing until you win them.
So they play it.
Okay, that's it for the Nigeria Professional Football League right now. Let's delve into the final day of EPL. The only drama we had was just the Leicester and Tottenham game where it wasn't going to go because Chelsea apparently were thinking of the Champions League final on May 29th, and that's why they lost to Aston Villa. Yes, the final day drama. I mean,
let's say the fixture,
the result, right?
Yeah, all
the result first, and then we go to Biola on this. All the results of what went down the final day. United, didn't really have much to do, but yet they won. Aston Villa and Chelsea, Aspilicueta getting a red card in that one. Leicester and Tottenham, I don't know how they buggled this. Well, they had 2 penalties. That's the only 2 goals they scored. Jamie Vardy. Liverpool and Crystal Palace, job done for them. Everton, Brighton, Arsenal, job done for Arsenal, but then they will not be playing Europe. Fulham and Newcastle winning away at Fulham, already relegated 2-0. And flip over to other results coming up. Well, Manchester City winners already. They won 5-0 against Everton at home. Sergio Aguero signing out. Sheffield and Burnley winning. West Ham and Tottenham and Southampton, Wolves and United, Leeds and West Brom. Okay, Biola, I know which one are you going to focus on? Of course, the team who were trying to sneak into the top 4 on the final day was between Leicester, Chelsea, and Liverpool. Of course, Leicester, just like last season, couldn't get into it, despite the fact that Chelsea didn't win a game. They were playing against Tottenham, which was going to be tough. But at home, everyone expected them to at least win that game, but it wasn't to be for Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, quite painfully so. Same thing happened last season as well. Last game of the season against Manchester United at home. If they win the game, they go to the Champions League. They didn't manage it this season as well. And I mean, so they've had a good season. They won the FA Cup. Had a good start at, trying to get into the Champions League. But when you spend so long, top 4 as they did this season, possibly, more than anyone except maybe even Manchester City, to falter at the last step, at home on the last day, it's quite hard to take. It's quite hard to take. It should be said as well that for clubs like Leicester, being in that position is not, is not common. They did it last year, they did this year. What are the chances that they will do next year? The big boys are going to strengthen, add more players, and be stronger. And the kind of run Leicester have had this season might not be enough for them to get within touching distance of the Champions League. And given what has happened with COVID as well, and the decimation of finances of clubs, the money they will have gotten from making the Champions League will have been huge in terms of, continuing their project, which is to getting really good players and stay really close, to the guys in top 4. So, yes, FA Cup is always a nice one to win a trophy, but I think that this morning, a lot of people in Leicester will wake up, wondering and feeling like, we came so close. I don't think that they're gonna be in the top 4 again next season. I think that when clubs like that get within, that sort of range, you've got to try and make sure that you get across the line. Also, the manner of the loss. I mean, Tottenham are not a fantastic. Like, they've had a torrid season, it should be said. They're a side that people are putting to bed. Aston Villa, defeated them, only last week. Leeds
as
people
well.
are beating them, quite regularly. and for you to be at home, have the Champions League right in front of you, and lose to a side, like Tottenham, is massively disappointing. I should add as well that from a Nigerian perspective, after the kind of season he and Acho particularly and Wilfred, about the Leicester, you'll have wanted them in the Champions League to test their mettle against the big boys, and that didn't happen. Europa is not really, it's a good competition, but like I said, if you spend so long in the top four and ultimately don't make the Champions League, it will definitely rank well and leave a short taste in the mouth.
Yeah, too bad for Leicester falling short at the very last moments again. Perhaps the injuries to Johnny Evans and Wesley Fofana contributed to that happening. Let's talk about the champions now quickly, Biola. We're going to let you listen to what Pep Guardiola had to say about the legend Sergio Aguero after signing off with 2 goals yesterday.
A special person, and yeah, it was a perfect game, a fairy tale moment. So we won the game. We had good moments. We had to improve for the final few of them. But and Sergio, we spoke yesterday. What do you want to do? How do you feel for the little niggles for the last week? And you want to play in the beginning, play the second half. So, and he decided maybe the last 30 minutes. So. But he didn't tell me, so I need just 30 minutes to score 2 goals. So, and he did it again. So yeah, it's perfect. So it's so good for him. He has a special feeling, He has something special, Sergio, and of course he will be ready. He's ready to, if we need him to help us to win the Champions League.
Pep Guardiola paying tribute to the departing Sergio Aguero. Biola, finally, I know bans and stuff about City not having legends and all of that, but I don't think there's anyone that's going to deny that Sergio Aguero is a modern-day legend in the Premier League and is a City player, or was. Or still
Absolutely, absolutely. He's not just a legend at Manchester City, he's also a Premier League legend. So many players don't transcend being their club legend, the legend of the entire league. That moment where he scored, that winning goal against QPR, it's one of those moments that will never ever be forgotten. The Aguero moment. I mean, I still remember exactly where I was, that day when that goal came in, in the 93rd minute. So also if you look at his goal scoring record, it's tied we're really now with the most number of PL goals for one club. So I mean, 5 league titles now, alongside David Silva, Vincent Kompany, and Fernandinho. I think that great spine of the Manchester City that was acquired by Mancini, is going now. Just Fernandinho, left. So I mean, it must be really, really hard for Manchester City fans, to see such a legend go, and they'll be hoping that he can, ultimately win the Champions League. I remember a quote of his, saying that he wouldn't leave Manchester City until they win the Champions League. What better way to leave than to manage, to win the Champions League. Remains to be seen. Whatever happens in the final, I think he's in history of Manchester City and EPL is cast in stone. We hear he's going over to Barcelona now for a couple of years, fully deserved. I mean, there was also an interview where Guardiola was crying, and he was talking about how Aguero was not just a fantastic player but also a fantastic person. And how helpful he has been, not just to himself but all of the players. So always a tough day to see these legends come and go, but it's the nature of the game. They come, they make their mark, and ultimately, they will leave. But the key thing is that when you leave, you want to live on high, and that is what, fortunately, has happened to somebody like Sergio Aguero, and very difficult to begrudge that.
Yeah, 260 goals, of course, indeed, has made his mark on Manchester City fans and Premier League fans that we'll never forget. Everything is done for the Premier League. We need to go on a break now. When we come back, Biola is still with us, and we're going around Europe as well to see what went down, especially in France, how Lille managed to pip PSG to the title. Join us again.
Gana la Leti, es la liga nuestra, ya está. Ya está todo hecho, chicos, ya está todo hecho. ¡Vente! ¡Vente! ¡Vale todo! ¡Vale todo! ¿Vamos arriba ya?
Welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. We still got Biola Kazim is going to help us do a review of all that went down in Europe across the various leagues. But before I get back to Biola, let's take a listen to Jurgen Klopp. Of course, their title defense never amounted to anything, but is still very, very glad that they somehow found their way into the UEFA Champions League for next season. Let's listen to Jurgen Klopp now.
Fighting through this and finishing here is the best lesson on third. It's the best lesson you can learn for life. I couldn't be more happy that I was around when that happened again. From nowhere to the Champions League in 5 weeks, that's a massive achievement. And so do I see it, and I think that's right. And I'm really happy for the Champions League that they don't have to play without us, so that we can that we are in it. That will be great. Can't wait for that, but. Outstanding achievement from the boys.
Outstanding achievement from the boys. Jurgen Klopp on Liverpool's somehow crashing the party for the UEFA Champions League. Biola, I mean, it's fantastic what Liverpool have done in the last few weeks of the season. But for a defending champion, you have to say that was totally shambolic. I mean, they basically did not mount any title or defense at all.
Biola, we can't really hear you. Yeah, I didn't. If you can unmute yourself. We can't hear you. Yeah. Okay, we'll get back to Biola shortly after this. I mean, we're talking about Liverpool. We had a team who spent 242 days, right, at top of the league and couldn't get into it. But the team that was out 242 days, Leicester City, but the team who were out for 5 weeks finally got in. Not just getting in, but finishing third, which was really good. So for Leicester, it was a failed season, if you ask me, although they won the FA Cup, but it was a failed season. How do you spend 242 days, the top of the league table, the most of any other, not even Pep, could achieve that, but they just couldn't get the Champions League spot.
There's no way you can describe Leicester's season as failed after what they have done. First FA Cup title, triumph. Then Europe, even though it's not the UEFA Champions League. It's not Champions League spot.
Biola, your thoughts.
Back to Liverpool. You were talking about Liverpool's non-existent title defense.
Yeah, I mean, at the start of two, like I said, they would have accepted third. But given all that has happened to them, lost their first, their best pairing at the back of defenders. Pretty much lost everybody at the back. Lost Matic, lost Van Dijk, since forever. Even though it must be said that since the beginning of the season they wobbled a little bit. But you will have thought that they will have mounted a far better challenge if they had all of their players. It's been a really, really disjointed season for them. It affected them in the Champions League, affected them in the Cups. So it's kind of season where you really just want to, assess where you are, and if you manage, to get yourselves into the Champions League, particularly from a financial standpoint, you are not going to call it a terrible season. I think that the key thing for them, learn from all of this, hope for better luck, because you really can, plan for the level of injuries that they are about to deal with this season.
Okay.
Absolutely believe.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Before we let you go quickly, just your thoughts on Lille winning the title in France, and also you go to Spain, Atletico Madrid. It simply means across the top 5 leagues in Europe, only Bayern Munich were the one who retained the title. They won. The others, you have new winners across board.
I mean, that's good for fans. You don't want to, a fully predictable outcome of leagues all across Europe. Even though you can predict what will happen in Germany. Bayern, congratulations on next season's title already. But that said, it's always a good look when you see teams like Atletico and Lille, go on to win the league, particularly a team like Lille, given their very peculiar circumstances. A lot of people forget that before the beginning of the season, they sold Victor Osimhen, their best striker. They sold Gabriel, their best defender, up against a juggernaut like PSG, who buy £100 million worth of players. They have Neymar, they have Mbappe, constantly stocking up on talent. Nobody will have ever given them a chance, to go on and win the league. The big thing for me was that they lost only 3 games. This was the title third. Lost 5 less games, than PSG. And also, what typically happens in quotes with small clubs is when push comes to shove, when they get to the final running, they stutter. These guys didn't stutter. They won 4 of their last 5 games. Won all of the games that they had to win to the title. And didn't give PSG any chance. It's a phenomenal achievement. It's one that they might not repeat, in a while, because obviously PSG are going to react by buying even better players. But this one is fully deserved. It's one that they remember for a long time. Clearly, they will sell a few more players. Will be weaker, next season. Absolutely phenomenal job. Yeah. And the manager and the players deserve all of the credit in the world.
Yeah, thank you, Biola Kazim, for joining us this morning. Thank you.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you very much.
All right, let's just take a tweet, and of course, before we look at the paper style, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let's start with, I've got Gerald Ikuku. Got your message, and you're saying the Premier League, the boys were separated from the men yesterday. What stood out for me was seeing West Ham qualify for the Europa League, while Leicester City was a disappointment, of course. Terrible day for the Foxes.
Terrible.
More tweets. Okiri Samson. Okay. Enyimba failing to advance to the next level is expected. Drawing at home is the worst of all. Yeah, it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay, Okiri also said that heartbreaking, Arsenal do not deserve to play at the European competitions. Their performance is poor, and the technical team have shown less competence.
Okay, AGK has got something very interesting to say. It says, I don't believe in luck. Finishing in the top 4 is a consequence of cumulative performance over 38 games. As a result, and because of that, Chelsea deserve their top 4 finish. Yeah, but they need their help. That's all we're trying to say.
Yeah.
If Leicester had done their job, Chelsea wouldn't be in the UEFA Champions League. But I get your point. More tweets, Cecilia, before we go on to the papers.
Okay, Joseph Amenagawan says, poor Leicester City. Seems they traded the FA Cup win for a top 4 finish in the EPL. It's a tough one. The team has to be consistent next season. Consistency is key. And Laura Alpha says, I saw the tragic star of Enyimba loading when they faltered in the second half of the match. With Pyramids played in Egypt, and Liverpool lived up to expectations by ending the season superbly. Chelsea cruised on Leicester misfortune. Yes, we all agree about that. If there's anything, they just had to do that. Last one, Noble Flyerman says, what's our season for United going 19 games away without a loss? I knew someone was going to bring that up. I didn't want to talk about
United fans got to celebrate every little thing they can these days.
Without a win, without a loss this season. So EPL, icing on the cake will be on Wednesday. Heartbreak for Chukwueze, and for Enyimba, they should Fatal as he lacks the technical basics of the game. Okay, we'll see if you're going to get heartbreak on that day. Quickly, the papers.
Got your message as well, so thank you for sending them in.
Sporting Sun, yes, champions, okay, City, they have 180 million quid. That's what you get when you win it. That's the prize money for lifting their 7th Premier League title. That's from Sporting Sun. And Messi makes a U-turn on Barcelona. What's the update? Well, Awini set for Liverpool return. Fiorentina joins Lazio in race for Simi. Simi Wanko, of course, is going to leave. I want to say Nigeria's 5th most expensive defender. Okay, there you have it on Sporting Life. What do you have there?
Sporting Life is the next paper. That was Sporting Sun. Chukwueze open to EPL move, of course, as we'll see how that pans out in the summer. WBO heavyweight title. Joshua ordered to fight Alexander Usyk. Of course. From Fury to Usyk. Fiorentina battle Lazio for Simi Wanko. Fenerbahce to beat Galatasaray to Yekuru deal. It's very interesting. And of course, the Kane winning the highest goal scorer award in England, as well as the Playmaker award. What a season for
it's been.
The play.
All right, so we have to leave the studio now. Well, thank you guys for joining us. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. Do have a fantastic day.
I am Tahir Salam. See you again tomorrow.